Hey everybody, I am so sorry again for the long wait. I swear to God, I'm like the Frank Ocean of YouTube, but I really do appreciate your patience. Honestly, what I really should have done was do a why I don't like Stolas just in one video instead of splitting it into two parts, because now that I look back on it, that's what makes the most sense. But again, I was just really lazy, so I apologize. And if you're somehow watching this video before seeing part 1, please go back and watch that one first, because I really don't want to get comments of people saying, oh, well, what about this, what about that? And they're talking about something that I already addressed in part 1. There's just one more thing I want to mention before I get into it. This video will obviously contain spoilers for the entirety of Hell of a Boss. This was something I already mentioned in my previous Stolas video, but I just find the placement for this episode to be incredibly weird. These two were just crying about each other like 2 days ago, and now they're all like fine and buddy-buddy and everything's great. And yes, I know that they cleared all of this up in Western Energy, but that episode came after seeing the stars, which I found to be incredibly weird. Like, wouldn't it make sense to give these two closure before having this kind of episode where it portrays everything between these two as being totally okay?
This is going to be done before tonight, right?
What? Oh, I hardly think so. Knowing your mother, this will take all weekend. Don't be gentle about it now. Break whatever you have to get it all in there.
What? But tonight, we're supposed to...
Darling, can we not talk about this now?
Stolas is a shitty dad, part 742. I understand it's usually rude to interrupt somebody when they're on a phone call, but I don't know, I feel like this time Octavia was being really respectful about it, and Stolas didn't even try to hear her out, he just kept cutting her off. She didn't have to cut me off! Like, you can argue with your wife later, dude. It's not like this was an important phone call or anything, he's just yelling at Stella, which is something that he does every single day. Like, no wonder Octavia says, why does he hate her more than he loves me? And for those of you who are new to this channel and may not know this, I just want to say I am very against the whole be the bigger person shit. It's a bullshit excuse, but Stolas arguing with Stella like this is immature as hell. Both of them are being immature here because they keep going back and forth. I understand Stolas' frustration, but Stella and Stolas argue for this long because one of them always has to respond to the other's insult. If Stolas didn't have a daughter to take care of and he just kept yelling at Stella, I would honestly be on his side here. I'd be like, yeah, get that bitch, that's what she deserves. But like I've said so many times before, when you have a kid, you really can't be selfish when it comes to situations like this. If Stolas put his immaturity and need to get the last word aside and hung up the phone, all of this could have been avoided. And I'm not necessarily blaming Stolas for forgetting about the fact that he promised to see the stars with Octavia. I forget shit all the time. What bothers me is that he didn't even give Octavia the time to hear her out. Again, I understand Stolas' pettiness towards Stella. I am definitely not telling Stolas to just take Stella's bitching and complaining, but what I am saying is put your pride aside and hang up the phone and pay attention to your daughter. It's not like Stella is in the room screaming at him. He could literally just hang up the phone. How hard would it have been to listen to what Octavia is telling you and say, hey Octavia, I'm sorry. I've just been quite distracted lately and I forgot I was supposed to take you to see the stars tonight. However, I will make sure I can fit it into my schedule and so we can still go tonight like I promised. Would that have been so hard?
How could this happen? Do you just let anyone waltz into your office and grab infinitely powerful artifacts? Why would she do this? How are we supposed to find her? Where would she go?
Is Stolas missing a screw or something? Like, what do you mean, why did she do this? Yeah, it's really funny and also aggravating that he tries to put the blame on Blitz. I understand that, yeah, Blitz should have been keeping more of an eye on his area, but at the same time, Octavia is not Blitz's daughter. Stolas is the one responsible for keeping an eye on her. Stolas was the one who was careless enough to let Octavia leave the palace in the first place. Going back to this scene, I know I already talked about it in part 1, but I'm gonna go more in depth on it here.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. I can't do this. No, not again. I haven't performed since Blitz. If your performance on stage is half as good as it is in bed, you'll leave them breathless.
Why would you say that?
Why on God's green earth? Why on God's green book
would you say that? Literally right before this episode, Blitz was saying that he feels like all Stolas wants him for is sex. And then Stolas decides to say this. Like, you're proving his point. And you could say, oh, well, it's obviously a joke and Blitz didn't mind it. I don't care. Read the room. This was the wrong thing to say at a time like this. One could make the argument, oh, well, these two did make up before this, it's just in a later episode. I still think it's odd for Stolas to be saying things like this even after they made up. Like, if your partner says they're uncomfortable with how much sex jokes you make, and then you apologize for it, and then you do the same exact thing the next day, just because you apologize, that doesn't mean you can automatically go back to what you were doing before. I don't understand why Stolas thought that this was somehow a good thing to say.
Dad's really worried about you.
Right, that's why you're here instead of him. He couldn't be bothered to keep his promise, and now he can't be bothered to come and get me himself. He'd rather spend his time just screaming at my mum. Why does he hate her more than he loves me?
Sometimes it's not as simple as that. This kind of shit gets messy. And everybody's got issues, especially dads. And sometimes they fuck up. Well, all the time. That doesn't mean they don't care.
If he cares, where is he?
He's somewhere down there.
He's here?
Looking for you. I mean, try to cut your dad some slack. He may not always get it right, but he's trying. That's more important than you think.
This scene is actually kind of sweet, and Luna is right. Stolas may be trying, but trying doesn't automatically excuse your fuck-ups. If Stolas really was trying, I feel like he wouldn't be making the same mistakes over and over again. I just hate the whole idea, well, he didn't mean to do it, so it doesn't matter. He still did it. Like, he's still neglectful and selfish when it comes to his daughter. It doesn't matter if it's intentional or not. If you're unintentionally hurting somebody, you're still hurting them.
But what would possess you to do such a thing?
Stolas, are you fucking stupid?
You know I haven't taught you spells like this yet.
I just wanted to see the stars you promised.
The stars? Azathoth's tears. Oh no, oh my dear sweet Fia, I am so...
I know, Dad, it's okay. You're here now.
Stolas does seem genuine with his apology, so like, I really don't have a problem with this scene. I mean, good on Octavia for forgiving Stolas. It shows that she's a really kind person. I can semi-understand why she wanted to forgive him. I mean, that's her dad. That's the only family she really has, and he did seem genuinely concerned about her. What a nice ending. Stolas learned from his mistakes, and it's not like he'll make the same mistake again, right? So let me just say, I did feel kind of bad for Stolas when he was getting tortured by Stryker. Like, I may not like him as a person, and like, yeah, he does deserve consequences for his actions, but this is way too far.
Blitz handles me rougher than that in bed. Nice try. Blitz's knife is bigger and hits so much deeper.
Being a smartass, Because once I split your neck open and let you choke on your own blue blood, you won't be worth any more than a tombstone you'll be buried under.
Blitzy says far dirtier things to me with much sharper objects at my throat.
Now, part of me didn't even want to cover this scene because, like, you can make the excuse that Stolas was just saying this shit to mess with Stryker. He doesn't actually mean it, but I still wanted to mention it anyway because it still is kind of weird. And again, like, something that bothers me about Stolas is how hypocritical he is. In Apology Tour, you could see how angry Stolas was at Blitz. He expects Blitz to be absolutely perfect. Yet when Blitz tells Stolas, hey, I don't like it when all you talk about is sex, Stolas doesn't listen. I really don't care that Blitz isn't around to hear this. It's still fucked up. Respecting basic boundaries is vital to a relationship. Now, I will admit, even as a top-tier Stolas hater, I did respect him a little bit for his messages to Blitz. He's letting Blitz know that their sexting isn't mandatory anymore and that he can take a break if he wants to. Again, this doesn't excuse the fact that he basically forced Blitz to fuck him for God knows how long, but I mean, hey, at least he's self-aware now, I guess. It's a step in the right direction. That being said, like, I'm not trying to complain about everything, but the way Stolas types this seems, like, really odd to me. Like, let me know if I'm overthinking, but just read these messages. Like, oh my god, wow, Stolas, you are such a nice person. You're letting Blitz take a month break from fucking you after you forced him to do it for months? Oh my god. Stolas, you are just so kind and charitable. I'm sure I could do without it for 1 month. The wording there is also kind of funny because it implies that, like, Stolas isn't 100% sure if he'll survive without having sex for a month.
Hey, Stolas only cares about having a rugged peasant raw dog him into his mattress. It's nothing, you know, it's nothing else.
Then why were you even there?
Other very important reasons, of course.
Whatever, I don't actually care.
I mean, Stolas is just a loud, thirsty bitch who loves feeling the thrill of getting dicked by the lower class. It's a novelty to him.
Literally just said I don't care.
And then he'll call me and try and see how my day was, and he'll pretend to care about me and comment on my photos and laugh at my jokes.
Oh, well, that's definitely your clue right there that it's all bullshit.
I know, right? He's just a fake privileged asshole. Point is, royal demons don't give a shit about guys like us. They're all the fucking same.
Look at what Stolas has done to him. Even after they had all those nice text messages, Blitz still isn't completely convinced that Stolas sees him as anything more than a sex toy because of everything that Stolas has done beforehand.
Get fucked, little one.
Oh, Stolas. You are just proving me so right about you. Like, does this guy really think about anything except for sex? I swear to God, this must be Stolas' brain anatomy. Like, why does this motherfucker manage to bring sex into everything?
It's been a few months since I've been inside of his feathered ass.
A few months?
Yeah, the bird started giving me more ways out of our monthly fuck sesh. He'd be all like, oh, Blitzy, I know it's the full moon tonight, but you don't have to come if you don't want to, Blitzy. So I've just been taking breaks from having to plow his feathered ass.
I think it's really funny to see how happy Blitz is that he doesn't have to do this shit once a month anymore. Like, you guys already know what my opinion on their deal is. I think it's absolutely disgusting and vile to basically force somebody into fucking you if they want to keep their job. And something that I don't really understand is the fact that sometimes Blitz is like, Stolas only wants me for sex, and he's like really sad about it. But then like other times, like in this episode, he's really hyped and excited to do it with him. Like, where did your insecurities go? They just disappear into thin air? Like, I mean, I'm glad their sex is 100% consensual for once, but this has still always just been odd to me. But it's almost like their roles are reversed here. Stolas is the one worried about, like, making a good impression, and Blitz is the horn dog. It's a very interesting change because it's usually the other way around.
Do you have my book, Blitz?
Yeah, it's right here. I always bring it. Why do you...
I need it back. Permanently.
No, hold on, Stolas, come on. Is it because I've taken a skip in a few rounds with you in bed because I'm busy? That ain't fair. All right, I can still hold up my end of the bargain. All right, let me show you a good time tonight. You know I can.
Please don't say it like that, Blitz.
Come on, bitch. You know I don't disappoint.
No. There's no need. I've made up my mind.
Stolas, please. I need this book, please. I need this book, Stolas. I will do anything.
I also think that this was a dumb move on Stolas' part. Like, in the beginning, Stolas was singing about, oh, everything's gonna be nice and happy and great, and we're just gonna have a good time. But then he starts it out with this whole depressing monologue. In my opinion, I think it would have just been way better if these two, like, hung out for a while, caught up with each other, and then brought something like this up. I just think it's kind of odd, like, if you haven't seen somebody in months, and then you start out your meeting by talking to them about something heavy like this.
No longer have any obligation to see me, to touch me, to bed me. You are free of me.
I don't understand. Why are you giving me this? Am I not, like, fucking you good enough? Because I can always do better.
This is just so sad to me that this is Blitz's first thought. Like, he thought Stolas would take the book away just because Blitz wasn't fucking him anymore. I'm not saying that Blitz pushing Stolas' boundaries like this was okay, but it's obvious that he was really confused. When Stolas just asked for the book and didn't demand a favor in return, Blitz is confused because Stolas always demanded something in return, so that's why Blitz thought that Stolas was joking and that this was supposed to be some kind of roleplay. Again, I'm 100% not justifying it. Sexual harassment is something that I don't take lightly, and I'm not defending what he did here. It was still gross, but I don't blame him for not believing Stolas' words here.
Blitz, I'm giving you this because I care very deeply for you, and I have for some time. But this transactional thing we have, it's not right anymore. It hasn't been. It never was. And now, all I can see is how wrong it is to be so tethered to someone in such an unfair way, and not know how they feel. But I want you to continue to be who you are, your business. You don't have to stay here with me. But I want you to. I want you to stay here with me because you want to. Only if you want to.
Let me just say this right now. I thought that this was the episode that would finally make me somewhat tolerate Stolas. I think that this apology is pretty well done. It's really refreshing to see Stolas actually acknowledge the fact that he was being selfish and not caring about Blitz's feelings. Stolas really did try his best here to show Blitz that he really did care about him and that their relationship wasn't all about sex. And I did feel a little bad when Blitz unintentionally hurt Stolas' feelings because Blitz didn't realize that Stolas was actually being serious and that this wasn't some kind of roleplay or fantasy. But Blitz assumed it was because he's so used to Stolas' behavior and because of his own self-hatred, believing that nobody could genuinely love him and that Stolas was just using him for his body. Overall, I thought this apology was very well thought out, and I thought that maybe this was the episode that would make me, like, not hate Stolas anymore. I thought, hey, you know, maybe I would tolerate him, but then, you know, it only took like 20 seconds for me to get pissed off at him again.
I have wanted you for so long. The fact that you couldn't believe that I might have these feelings about you, that your first instinct is that it's always about sex.
That's because all you fucking talk about is— oh my god, you know what? I don't even have to repeat myself anymore.
What? Fuck you, Stolas. You spring this feelings bullshit on me. Are you fucking kidding? Can I get a fucking minute to think after everything you put me through, you pompous, rich asshole? Treat me like one of your little butler imps? You can't just dismiss me like that. I mean, you royal fucks think you can do this every time, and you can just play with our feelings because we're smaller and not as important. Well, I'm not letting you, bitch! Let's go!
I'm sorry, but, like, Blitz is low-key right. He has every right to be frustrated because Stolas has never once tried to communicate that he had genuine feelings for Blitz until things got rough. This was just sprung onto Blitz out of nowhere. You can't expect him to have a positive reaction to it. You waited way too long to apologize for this, and too much damage has already been done. This is why, in my opinion, this relationship just doesn't work. Because these two are all sexual and deviant, but then all of a sudden Stolas is like, yeah, let's have a mature adult conversation about the political and economic state of the world. Like, you can't just switch up like that and expect Blitz to not be confused and be completely on board with it. Don't get me wrong, I do feel like Blitz should have heard Stolas out, but again, like, I really don't blame Blitz for that, because he's so used to Stolas' behavior. I don't think people understand that Stolas has been treating Blitz like an object throughout the entirety of this relationship. Like, how can you possibly expect him to think that Stolas was being serious here? Like, I still don't understand how even Stolas D-writers can possibly think that Blitz is still always in the wrong and that Stolas never did anything.
Blitz, I think so very highly of you.
Could have fooled me. So, even though Stolas had his issues in this episode, when it got to the end, I was like, alright, I mean, maybe he is starting to change. He's finally starting to take accountability, and that's progress, yay! But literally, in the very next fucking episode, all of the respect that I had for him was gone. Holy fuck, where do I even begin?
You usually like it when I talk all dirty and fucky and shit.
The fuck is with that look? Like, Blitz is right, ain't he? And by the way, this isn't me defending Blitz for violating Stolas' boundaries, but you cannot blame him for reacting this way because it's Stolas. Everything is about sex. Everything is a sexual roleplay. Like, how the fuck is Blitz supposed to know that Stolas is being serious here? I find it funny that certain people will say, oh, Blitz forced himself on Stolas. Oh, that's so gross. And then completely ignore all the times where Stolas was sexually harassing Blitz in public and in the bedroom. Like, double standards much? I swear to God, if Stolas wasn't written to be intentionally unlikable in this episode, I have no faith in humanity because there is no way.
I suppose you are right. Silly me. It's not an imp's place to protect a Goetia, is it?
And there it is. Took you long enough.
That's all you were waiting for, wasn't it? For me to play into this idea you have of me that I'm this prince who thinks he's so much better than you.
Stolas doesn't stop for 1 second to think, hey, why does Blitz think this? Instead, he just lashes out, refuses to take accountability or acknowledge the fact that maybe he may have done something wrong. Take a fucking step back, get off your high horse and stop acting like a narcissist who thinks they're perfect and can't possibly do anything wrong. You've literally called Blitz a little imp, an itty bitty imp, and an impish little plaything, and then you're like, why does he think that I look down on him? Like, you fucking idiot. Oh my god.
As shocking as this might seem, Blitz, I don't think I'm in the mood to do sex with you.
No. This cannot be right. This has to be an impersonator. Stolas not thinking about sex for 1 second? Oh my god, holy shit, man. This is unbelievable. This cannot be real.
I don't think I'm even in the mood to do words with you. So how about you respect that?
Oh my god, again, there is just no way that Stolas was not intentionally written to be unlikable here. There is just no way, because there are multiple instances of Stolas blatantly disrespecting Blitz, but oh no, all of a sudden when Stolas feels like Blitz is disrespecting him, he wants to bitch and whine. Sorry, I know Stolas is not real, so I shouldn't be getting so heated about this. It's probably just because I've met multiple people that are like Stolas, and they are infuriating to deal with. Nothing is their fault. Everyone else is always the problem. They always have some kind of fucking excuse for their shitty actions. They always try to push the blame around, and I swear to God, like, I hate these people. Again, I'm not saying that Blitz is a super nice person or anything, because to be honest, like, both of them aren't really the best, but at least Blitz is trying to change and can actually recognize his faults. That's a step in the right direction. But on the other hand, Stolas has been like this for the entirety of the show.
I'd never indulge this nonsense. It's silly.
Real silly, real fucking classy.
Kind of them to invite me, though. It might be rude not to make an appearance.
Veronica! Of course, that fucking bitch.
Yeah, guys, Stolas loves Blitz. He loves him so much. But he was willing to go to a party hosted by Blitz's ex-girlfriend, and the card he received has a drawing of Blitz stabbed on the front cover. Yeah, Blitz was incredibly rude to Veronica, used all her money on, like, horse racing or some shit, which is shitty, don't get me wrong, but, like, I don't think you deserve to be publicly executed for that. If he assaulted her or something, I'd be like, oh yeah, this drawing is completely justified, but alright, okay, I'm sorry, we're getting completely off topic here. Getting back on track. I just find it so funny that people say Stolas just loves Blitz so much, but then why would Stolas go to a party intended to shit on the person that he apparently loves? I guess you can make the argument that Stolas was just so angry and not thinking straight, but then again, Stolas literally has far less reasons to be mad at Blitz than the reasons that Blitz has to be mad at Stolas.
So you're used to being the one who crushes others' feelings.
Holy shit, you're talking to a fucking mirror!
Get out!
Get out.
I'm tired of this. I'm uncomfortable with how you're speaking to me now.
Oh, come on, Stolas. You can't tell me this isn't a fantasy of yours. You want me to show your rich, princey ass what a real fucking is.
Stop it.
Ha! I'm right, aren't I?
I want to break something. I really do. Like, this has to be rage bait. There is no way, there is just no possible way that the writers genuinely believe that Stolas is not being a hypocrite right now. Like, there's just no way. How many fucking times have Stolas made Blitz uncomfortable? But when he does it to you, oh, that's too far. Oh, your feelings are hurt. Like, fuck off.
I don't look down on you. How many times do I... When have I ever...
Bro, oh my god. I don't even need to explain why this statement is idiotic. I've been doing that for this entire video, so we're just gonna move on. How can people possibly sympathize with this guy and say that Blitz is so much worse? There's nothing wrong with liking a character who's an asshole. Why do you guys think villains are so popular? It's because they're interesting. My point is, how can people possibly 100% sympathize with Stolas and say he didn't do anything wrong? Stolas would have worked so much better as a villain, in my opinion, if he was portrayed as one. Like, the difference between liking a problematic character like Doflamingo, for example, is the fact that One Piece portrays him as being evil. You don't see any sane Doflamingo fans saying, oh, he didn't do anything wrong. No, people like him because he's deranged, vicious, bloodthirsty, and walks like an idiot. Liking a problematic character because you think that they're interesting is completely different from liking a problematic character and defending that problematic character's actions. So the difference between a character like Doflamingo and Stolas is the fact that Doflamingo is actually portrayed as being evil. Some may sympathize with him due to his traumatic childhood, but overall, Oda is not throwing this character in your face and saying, oh no, he's a good guy, he just made a couple mistakes. If Stolas was actually called out for his shitty actions within the show, then I would understand why people like his character. But no, that isn't the case at all.
You speak just like that vile striker friend of yours, the one who tried to kill me and you couldn't be bothered to come help me. Remember him?
This is so fucking insulting when you literally remember that Stolas knowingly put Blitz's life at risk to talk about sex back in episode 1.
What if we worked out some kind of exchange? Favors for favors. Doesn't that sound enticing?
Stop using your fancy-ass rich people talk, okay? I'm trying to concentrate on not getting fucked in my A!
Then let me keep it simple. Once a month, on the full moon, you return the book to me, followed by a night of passionate fornication.
Like, I would totally be on Stolas' side here if he didn't do this, but you put Blitz's life in danger just to ask him, well, I was wondering if you could fuck me once a month. Like, bitch, Blitz literally said this is a bad time, and Stolas continued to talk to him. Like, if somebody said this is a bad time, that's when you say, okay, I'm sorry, I'll call back later, and hang up the fucking phone. And I'm not saying that Luna getting an important shot that they waited 5 years to get is more important than Stolas' life, but let's not forget the fact that it's not like Blitz didn't send in anybody to help Stolas and just wanted to let him die. He sent in Moxie and Millie, but that's not good enough, guys, because Blitz should have saved Stolas, because Blitz is the knight in shining armor, not those littler ones. His words, not mine.
Where is Blitzy? He's my knight in shining armor, not you littler ones.
Also, once Blitz assisted in saving Stolas, he did not demand anything in return. You cannot say the same for Stolas. As soon as Stolas saved Blitz, he was like, oh, well, am I gonna get anything?
Why would I allow everyone to see how much I like you? I've tried so fucking hard to spend time with you.
No, it's lust. The word you're looking for is lust. So the sentence you're looking for is, why do you think I would allow everybody to see how much I lust for you? Love is caring about the feelings of your partner, treating them like an equal, listening to them when they seem upset, and respecting their boundaries. Asking them for sex 24/7, treating them like an object, making them uncomfortable multiple times, and demanding they give you something in return every time you do something quote-unquote nice for them is not love.
Do you feel any kind of remorse for what you do? Have you ever even apologized once in your life?
I don't even think I need to say what's wrong with this clip. I think it speaks for itself. So we're just gonna move on before I rage.
And I can sorry more people, everyone but you, because I don't owe you dick! Everyone but you.
Blitz, thank you for saying this. Oh my lord, thank you. In my personal opinion, although both of these dumbasses need to apologize to each other, but people really don't take into account how much damage Stolas has done to Blitz's already horrible self-esteem. Blitz is right, he doesn't owe Stolas dick. He doesn't owe Stolas anything. Yes, he stole the book, and that was shitty. But Stolas trapping him in a deal which is essentially impossible for Blitz to escape by making him fuck you because he needs the book to keep his business running is disgusting. None of this favors for favors bullshit. You guys are supposed to be friends. Stolas is supposed to care about Blitz. Why would you do this to somebody that you apparently care about so much? I occasionally hear people saying, oh well, if Blitz is gonna use Stolas, then why is it so bad for Stolas to use him? First of all, stealing something from somebody and forcing somebody into fucking you once a month if they want to keep their livelihood are two completely different things. And second of all, Stolas could have literally stolen the book back. If Stolas really wanted to quote-unquote get even with Blitz, why didn't he just steal something that Blitz liked? But you want to know why he didn't do that? Because Stolas is a shallow, horny asshole who only cares about his own pleasure and doesn't consider Blitz's feelings and whether or not he would even be okay with this until way later. I'm not saying that Blitz was in the right for stealing the book, but it was for his business. The only reason Stolas didn't ask for it back without some kind of deal is because of his own selfishness. Two completely different things. Stolas didn't even give a shit that Blitz stole the book. He just thought, what can I get out of this? Like, it was never about the book. It was about his sexual desires. I would feel some sympathy for Stolas if he was, like, torn up about the book being stolen, but he wasn't. He literally did not give a fuck. Stealing, of course, is still a shitty thing to do. It doesn't really matter if it had a big impact on the person you stole from or not. But my main point here is that saying, oh, favors for favors, you have to do this for me if you want my book, like, that's gross and disgusting. That honestly makes you a worse person than the guy who stole it from you in the first place. Of course, like I said before, both of these idiots need to apologize to each other, but how the fuck can Stolas possibly expect Blitz to apologize when Stolas won't apologize first? When, I'm sorry, people are gonna hate me for saying this, but Stolas has put Blitz through far more shit than what Blitz has put Stolas through. Something else that really annoys me is the way that Verosika treats Stolas at the party. To be completely fair, she would have had no way of knowing what really went on during their quote-unquote relationship, so she wouldn't have known that Blitz wasn't the only one who was doing something wrong, but it's absolutely infuriating to see Stolas get babied by her and treated like he's the only victim, even though he's literally been an asshole this whole time too.
Look, how I acted this morning, it was fun, okay?
This morning? Oh, why did you show up there? Why did you show up here?
You already asked that, but look, I just really need to talk to you, to explain.
Oh?
I do appreciate Blitz for trying to apologize. I just feel like this was a bad time since Stolas is obviously drunk.
I've always been real shit at sorries, okay? They're for pussies, and no one fucking deserves them anyway, but I felt like maybe you actually needed one.
See, this is why Blitz is my favorite character in Hell of a Boss. I just think his personality is so funny. I just find it so funny when he's trying to be genuine, and then a little bit of his sarcastic and goofy personality slips in. Those are like some of my favorite moments in this show.
You care too much about what everyone thinks, except for me, because, you know, my opinion is correct, but...
This show has its redeeming qualities, okay? I will admit that. It can be funny and entertaining sometimes. Trust me, if I absolutely hated this show, I would not waste my time watching it. But anyway, I'm gonna do a Blitz video another time. Moving on.
Oh, lucky me!
Oh, shit. Okay, what I mean is, I said sorry a lot today, and honestly, didn't really mean any of it, because the only one I wanted to say it to was you, Stolas. This whole thing we had going, I mean, you're a fucking prince. How could you ever actually care for an imp? Me. How could anybody?
Also, seeing Blitz open up here was a really good thing. He was very open and honest with his feelings here, and that's a very vulnerable and brave thing to do, so props. Again, I just feel like his timing was really bad because Stolas is obviously drunk and is probably not going to remember this in like 2 hours, but still. I think that Blitz is a lot more mature than people give him credit for. These guys are both idiots, they both fucked up, they both owe each other apologies, it's not just one-sided, so the fact that Blitz was willing to take that first step and actually be mature, because he knew if he didn't do it, then Stolas wouldn't, is pretty nice to see, actually.
Stolas, you are better off without me, okay? You deserve so much. I don't even know why you would want to be with me.
He wants your dick, Blitz. He wants your dick. He says it all the time. That's all he talks about.
You want to know what I want? I want to know what it's like to not be alone. The point is, I just want someone to care if I stay or go. I want someone to want me, to want to see me, to hold me, look at me and think, well, you're the only one I want. I desire to hold you and talk to you, never let you feel so. You, why are you here? I don't want you here. Go home, please. Let me not feel so sad.
Again, I will say, Stolas, I hate you, but your voice actor is fantastic. Seeing Stolas open up here a little bit as well was also nice to see because, as I said before, I feel like he almost never actually expresses his desire to just connect with somebody. It's usually only, oh, I want to be fucked, oh, I want this, I want that. So he comes off as incredibly whiny, entitled, lustful, and like sex is all he cares about. You can't talk about sex 99% of the time and then say, oh, I just want to be loved. I just want somebody to cherish me for me. Stolas' hypocrisy here pisses me off. Like, he says that he just wants somebody to genuinely want him, and I'm assuming he doesn't want somebody to want him for superficial and shallow reasons, right? But then he treats Blitz as if he only wants him for shallow reasons. Like, I'm sorry, but even though they're having a heart-to-heart talk right now, it is just so hard for me to sympathize with Stolas. Treat others the way you want to be treated. If you want somebody to genuinely love you for you, not just your body, then why would you treat somebody that you apparently love so much like you only want them for their body? And I'm a little nervous to say this because I feel like people are gonna hate me for this. And maybe I could be spitting bullshit. Let me know what you guys think. But I really, really hate it when you ask somebody why they want to be in a relationship and they're just like, oh, well, I just want somebody to want me. I want someone to hold me. I want them to do this and that and the other thing. Like, this sounds like the introduction to boyfriends, man. There is absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to be held, wanting your partner to do things for you in a relationship. But it just seems like incredibly superficial. I'm just saying a relationship goes both ways. If you say you want your partner to hold you and comfort you, then you need to be willing to do the same thing for them. It's not just one-sided. I'm sorry, but Stolas really gives off the vibe of like a stereotypical bottom that's just so whiny and wants their dom to do everything for them, but they're not willing to show affection or put any effort into the relationship themselves. There's nothing wrong with preferring to be on the receiving end of things. Of course not. Stolas has just been a very self-centered person for most of his life, constantly disregards disregards Blitz's feelings, but then as soon as Blitz disregards his, he wants to have a hissy fit. That's why hearing somebody like Stolas say, I want someone to do this for me, and that for me, and this for me, like it's just all me, 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 me. What are you willing to put into the relationship? I understand wanting to receive comfort and affection from someone else, but it seems only, oh, what can my partner give me? Not what can I do for them to show them I care, you know? So now we get to the song that Stolas has in this episode. I don't like it. I think it's probably the worst song in this show, to be honest. And before you say I'm just biased because I don't like Stolas and that's why I hate this song, I actually do enjoy his other songs. Like the Owl in a Cage one, I think is very well done. I don't like that throughout the entire song, Stolas portrays himself as the only victim. That's one thing I don't like about it. So the lyrics for me are a little iffy, but the vocal performance and overall melody is really good, in my opinion at least. I also do like his part in When I See Him. So me hating this song has nothing to do with the hatred that I have for Stolas. Even if Blitz was singing this song instead, I would still hate it. It's so aggravating that this is the second song that Stolas has where he portrays himself as the only victim. When the fuck is Blitz gonna get a song about everything that Stolas has put him through? So not only is this song pretty insulting when you really look at the lyrics, as it portrays Stolas as being the innocent little victim who didn't do anything wrong, I also think the lyrics are kind of ass, no offense. I'm a songwriter too, and so I really do feel bad for making fun of these lyrics, because I know that songwriting is really hard, but like, come on, man. And these fuckers have made some bangers in the past, but this is just not their best work. You guys know those songs that were clearly made in like 30 minutes, where they take like a gimmick, like a nursery rhyme or something, to make it go viral on TikTok and then don't try on the rest of the song? That's what this song feels like. Like, listen to the opening verse. I let you get too close. I let it go too far. Now I know, now I know, now I know exactly what you are. Like, what in the twinkle twinkle little star are these lyrics, man? Like, na 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 na, a motherfucker. Actually, this is untrue. Blitz has fucked no mothers. He only fucked a father, as far as we're aware. So why are you guys lying on my boy's name like that? Alright, alright. I let it go too long. I let you go too deep. Now I know, now I know. Now I know there's one thing I can't keep. I am being half sarcastic here. When he says I let you go too deep, is he talking about like sex-wise? Or does he mean like I let you into my heart and I regret it now? I'm genuinely curious. I'm not even like only trying to make this a joke. I'm genuinely curious here. But I keep on waiting to want you less than I do. And I do. Oh, I do. Yes, I still do want you. I'm sorry. It's just these lyrics are so generic. Oh my god, and then there's this part. But maybe it's all on me for missing every sign and every glance and every turn. And then Verostica and Vortex say, no, 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 he's a motherfucker. Basically, Stolas was saying, oh, maybe it's my fault. And then these two assholes are like, oh no, it's all his fault. Like, you don't even know what happened. Sit your asses down. Why is Vortex singing? Vortex wasn't even involved with Blitz at all. Like, what? And again, incredible hypocrisy from Stolas himself for missing every sign and every glance and every turn. 99% of the time, you only talked about sex. And Blitz noticed those signs and started to rightfully assume, okay, this guy only wants me for sex. And then you got mad at him for making an accurate assumption based on the way you behave around him. Okay, oh god, it's not over yet. 'Cause darling, you're a thief, but you were mine to earn. What if I came on too strong? Oh, you definitely did. What if I read this all wrong? What if we just don't belong? Oh my god, Stolas, we have reached common ground. All of this, what if, why, makes me burn. I wouldn't be surprised if this was AI generated. Okay, now it just kind of repeats over and over again. Okay, so we're finally done. Oh my god, I fucking hate that song. It's so bad. The only redeeming quality, I think, is the vocals. I think this is probably the worst song from either Has-Been or Hell of a Boss. Alright, now that torture is over, we can move on. Just a quick note here, I already made videos going more in depth on my opinions on these last two episodes, so if for some reason you enjoy hearing me talk and you want a more in-depth discussion of these next two episodes, you can find those videos on my channel. Mastermind is one of those episodes that in the past, when I first watched it, I said I had mixed feelings on, but honestly, like going back to it, I do kinda like it a little bit more now. Aside from the whole, oh poor Stolas BS, I think it's quite enjoyable actually. I thought the humor in this episode was a step up from most of the other episodes. The jokes seemed a lot more toned down and natural, natural, and I really liked the inclusion of all the past characters. I thought characters like Bea and Ozzy, for example, had really fun interactions, and it was nice to see them again. Getting into the main point of the episode though, I find it funny how this trial is basically how the fandom acts defending Stolas. Like, pretend Andre Elphus is acting as Stolas fans and Blitz is still like himself.
I must testify that this brutish imp was forcing himself on her husband, Stolas, who, unlike a responsible and handsome goetic demon such as myself, was too weak and ashamed to come forward about it. The poor thing.
What? Hey, I didn't force shit!
Committing such horrid acts to gain the upper hand!
That isn't what happened!
The fandom will be like, oh my god, Blitz is so terrible, he took advantage of Stolas. And then somebody with a brain will come along and say, well, Stolas took advantage of Blitz too by coercing Blitz into fucking him in order to keep his business up. And then the Stolas fans will be like, shh. Getting into the song of this episode, I forgot to mention it when I was going over the solo songs that I liked. I will say, it's actually pretty good. I do like it a lot. I think the lyrics are solid, the music is very well composed. It's honestly kind of a vibe. I just think the timing for the song is hilarious. Like, imagine if you're in a courtroom witnessing a trial and then some motherfucker just starts singing to make his point. Even now, I do feel like a small amount of sympathy for Stolas during these scenes. It was very minuscule, but it was there. But it also pisses me off because I hate when shows do this, where they will have a character who's been an asshole this entire time, and then before they can even get any kind of redemption, they just have some tragic thing happen to them to make the fandom feel bad for him. As I said a second ago, I did feel bad when Stolas was getting shit thrown at him, but when I think about it now, I shouldn't feel bad because he's treated imps like shit. He could be seen throwing them around and using them as props in previous episodes, but now that he's getting that same treatment, we're supposed to feel bad. It also pisses me off that almost everything tragic that's happened to Stolas throughout the series has been his fault. Like in this scene, he looks so sad when he sees that Blitz and Luna actually have a good relationship. Dude, you cannot expect your daughter to treat you the same way Luna treats Blitz because you're neglectful, entitled, and wasted a good opportunity for you to actually connect with your daughter by inviting your sex partner and making the entire day about yourself. And I guess it is nice to see Blitz caring about Stolas and whatever, but again, maybe it's just me being a negative bitch, but it was just so hard for me to fully sympathize with Stolas here. Going through something traumatic does not equal development or excuse your past shitty actions. We have finally reached the end. I'm really not the biggest fan of this one. I physically cringed so many times throughout this episode, and even today, 5 months later, I still do feel pretty bad about that because you can tell that this episode had a lot of hard work put into it, so I feel bad for just shitting all over it, but anyway, let's get into it. I've said this before, I feel like Andrealphus and Stella are mainly just used as plot devices to make Stolas look not as bad. I still do firmly believe to this day that the main reason why Stella was created was to be a shitty wife to give Stolas a quote-unquote justified reason to cheat, even though I still believe that Stolas' main motive for staying with Stella doesn't make much sense, because he says he wants Octavia to have a normal life, but then he literally goes and ruins that himself by flirting with Blitz and having an affair with him while he was still together with Stella. You want Octavia's life to be normal, yet you go and fuck another guy and cheat on your wife. It's probably just because I'm asexual. I have never felt any sexual attraction in my entire life, so maybe I just don't understand Stolas' perspective here, but like, come on, he really couldn't wait it out. He just needed dick that bad. Let me know if I'm taking this out of proportion, but to me it really sounds like Stolas chose lust over his own daughter, whether it was intentional or not. Yes, I'm reusing this clip for the third time on my channel, but here is my envision of the most ideal situation. Octavia is born, and after a few weeks or months or years, Stolas says, hey, I'm tired of the way you're treating me, I'm leaving you and taking Octavia because you obviously don't care enough about her. And yeah, Stella will be mad and she'll yell and whatever, but realistically, Stella lives in Stolas' house, so he has a right to kick her out. Then they get divorced, then Stolas reconnects with Blitz, then they do their thing, and boom, they both raise Octavia together. Then Octavia would have two parents, and so her life would be quote-unquote normal, as Stolas claims he wants it to be, and everyone's happy, except for Stella, I guess. And Octavia would likely be too young to remember the events of Stella and Stolas' divorce, and telling her about it when she is older will not affect her childhood, and also ensure that she's mature enough to understand why Stolas did what he did. And let me just say this right now, I am not victim-blaming Stolas and saying, oh, well, he should have just stayed with Stella. Of course not, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is that his motive for doing so doesn't make much sense to me, because you cannot say you want Octavia's life to be normal and then go out and ruin that yourself. It occurred to me that when Stolas said he wanted Octavia to have a normal life, he meant he wanted her to have a traditional family, which when most people think of, they picture a mom and a dad, a husband and a wife. But then I realized there are so many gay people in hell, which, yeah, makes a lot of sense. So it's not like being LGBTQ is taboo in this verse or anything. So Octavia's life still would have been considered quote-unquote normal regardless of if she had two dads instead of a mom and a dad. Seeing these scenes of Stolas getting bullied by imps is pretty ironic because, as I said when we went over the previous episodes, Stolas was always the one who was treating them like trash, and now it's the other way around. I'm gonna sound like an asshole here, but like, isn't Stolas kind of getting what he deserves? What goes around comes around. Okay, so now we get to the highlight of the episode, I think. The song. And I think this was actually actually leaked a while ago because I remember hearing a little part of it. So this song is honestly pretty good. According to the wiki, this song was written almost 5 years ago, so Octavia leaving Stolas was planned really early on, surprisingly. And of course, I've seen a lot of Stolas D writers getting mad at Octavia for leaving him, and I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as possible. I don't fucking blame her. I don't think those people are taking Octavia's feelings into account. First of all, her dad not only cheats on her mom and tears the family apart, he also proceeds to call the man he cheated on Stella with in front of Octavia and tells him that he has a very big dick, when the reason Octavia was so upset is because she was tired of hearing Stella and Stolas arguing with each other. Oh, and why were they arguing again? Because Stolas cheated. And then Stolas says, hey, I'm gonna take you to Lululand to make you feel better. But then he proceeds to say, oh, well, we need security. Just so he had an excuse to invite Blitz and make the whole day about himself. And then he almost completely ignored his daughter the entire time so he could flirt with Blitz. Again, even though he said that this trip was supposedly supposed to be for Octavia. Somebody can only take so much shit before they explode, and this is Octavia's breaking point. Yes, everybody makes mistakes, but your apologies mean nothing when you continue to make the same mistakes over and over again. Stolas made not one, not two, but multiple mistakes, apologized for it, but it didn't mean anything because he continued to make the same mistakes. Octavia has every right to leave his ass. Blitz may have pissed me off in this episode, but even all you Blitz haters out there have to admit that Blitz is at least a good dad. I honestly really wish that Octavia would have gone with Blitz and he would have taken her in and embraced her as his daughter instead.
Thea, my brave, powerful girl, I am so proud of you.
You lied to me. What? You lied to me! You said you would never leave me! You promised!
Thea, I didn't leave you. I would never.
It's so irritating to me how Octavia is calling Stolas out on his bullshit and he's just like, nuh-uh.
It wasn't my choice.
It was your choice. You chose him.
Thea, no, I didn't. I had to. You don't understand.
I had to, my fucking ass. No, you just wanted Segex. That's literally it, bro.
I do understand. I understand we were never enough for you. You never loved Mother, and you don't love me. You love him.
I'm not exactly sure how much Octavia knows about Stolas and Stella's arranged marriage. I'm not sure if she even knows that they were arranged or not, but I'm assuming she doesn't. And I'm definitely not saying, oh, well, Stolas should be with somebody he doesn't love just for the sake of his daughter. Of course not. But what I am saying is that, again, there's ways around this.
I love you, Thea, so much. Please, sweetie, let me explain.
I can't. You lied to me once, and you'll do it again. Have a great fucking life with him, Dad.
No, Thea, please. Please.
I fucking hate this shit. This is selfish. I don't care what anyone says. This is selfish. You're begging for not a second chance, not a third chance, but what, like a fifth or sixth chance at this point? If you see somebody you supposedly care about is this hurt and you're still begging for them back because you don't want to lose them, even though what you did to them is shitty, you're shitty. I didn't cry here. I don't feel bad that Stolas cried. I don't feel bad for him at all. He got what he deserved.
She hates me.
That's your own damn fault. I don't like the fact that Stolas is getting babied and treated like the victim here. By apparently trying to make Octavia's life better, Stolas ruined everything, and now Octavia doesn't have any parent to turn to. Even though Stolas has made the mistakes, he's the one being pampered and babied and told, oh, she'll understand. I feel so bad for Octavia. She literally has nobody on her side now. People say that Stolas may not be the best dad, but at least he's trying, which, okay, that's a good point, but the reason why I can't feel any sympathy for him is because he was begging for her back after he made multiple mistakes. He didn't even try to apologize. He just kept deflecting, saying, oh, I didn't do that. Oh, you have to listen to me. He was only thinking about himself here. Why should Octavia have to continue to put up with your bullshit after you've heard her so many times just because you're sad about it? Feeling guilt isn't enough of a punishment. As I said before, Stolas has his new boyfriend to coddle him and tell him that he did nothing wrong. Octavia has nobody. And I can't believe I didn't really think about it that way when I watched this episode all the way back when it came out. So in conclusion, as everybody knows already, I absolutely hate Stolas. I don't understand how anybody can see him as some kind of super sweet and innocent precious angel. I still don't like the ship Stolas. I'm sorry. I feel like these two have hurt each other too much, and both of them continue to make the same mistakes over and over again. And it's not like I'm just a salty hater who hates love or anything. I'm actually a big shipper, but there's just so much shit that has happened between these two that I just don't think that they can work together as a pair, at least not right away. Say what you want about, oh, Stolas is trying, he's nice deep down. He was still never properly called out for manipulating Blitz into fucking him, or catcalling him in public. It's aggravating that he gets coddled and babied by the audience of the show, and possibly controversial take, but for all the people that absolutely love Stolas, I guarantee that if they had to deal with someone like that in real life, they would grow to resent that person. It really comes off like he's a shallow asshole who only cares about sex. He whines when he doesn't get his way, he expects Blitz to do everything for him, and always plays the victim card. At least Blitz was called out for his actions, and we weren't meant to blame his victims, like Verosika. But with Stolas and Octavia, it's so obvious that we were meant to sympathize with him, even though he wasn't a good dad to her, and she literally had every right to leave him because he made the same mistake multiple times. I'm so sorry that this video took a long time to get out. out, but I really do appreciate your patience and support. To be honest, I really don't like making longer form videos like this. It's incredibly draining. I'd rather have more videos that are just shorter than have less videos that are longer, but if you guys really do like these longer form videos, I will find a more efficient way to produce them because I do feel bad for making you guys wait for so long. Thanks so much for staying till the end. I know this was a long one. Please leave me any video recommendations you guys have in the comments below, and I hope to see you next time.